So I wanted to get a chance to show you how to set up your IM onto the network, especially when you're behind a domain, when you're running an Active Directory, and you just need to try to get something set up, even if it's as simple as going from one computer to your IM. It's the exact same regardless if you're trying to go from the computer or if you're trying to go from a main server. So what I'm going to do is on my system, and this is my actual computer, I'm just going to put in a new folder, and we're just going to call this one data. And this will be the location that I want the IM to send all of its information to. So once I have that folder, I'm going to right click, properties, go into the sharing, make sure that I'm sharing this folder. We're going to share it as data. Great. Alright, so that is now shared. So in this window you can actually see my IM itself. I'm just actually using a video capture card to pull it in. So we're going to come into my IM, come down to optional settings, and from my optional settings we need to double check our communications. So make sure we go into the communications, make sure we have that IP address put in there, and that we've got the default gateway thrown in, and make sure that start network sharing is selected. But once that's set up, we're going to go to folder settings, and in folder settings we just click here, and we're going to enter in that actual IP address. So this is the IP address for the computer that you're currently looking on. It's going to get a little weird because we're on the IM, which is going to look back at this same computer, and we're going to end up trying to find this data folder right over here. So that is the actual IP address for this machine. I'm going to hit add update. Go make a search through my network. And it's going to prompt for a user account so that they can access this system. So there we go. Alright, so now we're looking at my user account. Now, this is behind a domain. So I'm actually on a domain over here. So I'm going to enter in that domain. So KANJ. And then I'm going to put in my username. And make sure that we're putting in that back falling slash, not the front falling slashes. And we'll put in our password. Now the remember password button is if I don't want to make it so that every time I log in, or every time I reboot the machine, I have to re-log in. It'll store that information. So hit that, hit OK, let it go through and do its authentication. Just give it a few seconds. Okay, so we are through. We're good. So at this point we can start searching. Now it looks like if we're not getting that username and password, that there is something else in that network in the way that you have your sharing set up, that you're not actually forcing user authentication in order to see folders. But we now have the ability to look and see any folder on the machine that we want to be able to connect to that is currently shared. So I can select data and hit OK. It'll set that, hit OK. Give it a sec. So, alright. What I'm now going to do is just go and find an actual program that I can drop in. Alright, let's just grab, here we go. Drop that into my data folder. Close this. Go to measurement settings, and if I open up, I can now see my data folder, and there's my program that I just pulled up. So that's really about it. It's just a matter of making sure that we put in the correct username and password, that we put in the correct domain, and that we make sure that we have sharing set up for that actual file in order to get it to connect. So if you have any more questions, please contact us directly. We'll be more than happy to help.